and here is my sweet cream or sweet corn casserole. 14 little circles out of this. Oh my gosh, that's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And here we are. I didn't think it was gonna pop up that easily. I gotta get to chopping those onions. And you know what I forgot on my plate? A piece of sausage. Putting this on top. And oh my gosh, these are delicious. Isn't that cute? And there, that's the finished one. I wish I had videotaped in there. Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be making a fall front door decor, and most of my supplies are from the Dollar Tree, some which I've just purchased and others which are left over from other projects. So let's get to it so I can show you what we're going to be using and how we're going to be making this. Alright, I've got all my supplies laid out on the table right here. As you can see, I've got an array of things, so let me run through what I have found. I have gone to the Dollar Tree and I've purchased new these frames, and I've got one 8x10, and you can see the edge on this one so that you'll know which one I got. Okay, and this with the same design, same edge, I got two 4x6, and I've got two 3.5x5s because I wasn't sure what I was going to use, and I have finally decided, and I will let you know as soon as I get started. On to the next items that I bought brand new. This foam board that we are seeing here. This is the foam board that's on the table. Got one of those from the Dollar Tree. I got 2 bushes of one of our little daisies here, little mini daisies, and then I got these little berry bush. Okay, the items that I already had, that I had purchased before, but I do have one that's new that I haven't opened, and this is a roll of 3 yards of ribbon. It's 9 feet, so it's 3 yards, and this is a 5/8 inch wide, and they have it in different patterns. This is the pattern on this one. It just says autumn, turkey, fall, harvest. You can pick whatever you like, whichever ribbon you like. Okay, I had also previously bought a package of these little acorns. I actually have a lot in this. This is almost like a whole new packet because some of these are left over from my sister-in-law, some are left over from me when we did another project, which is a scarecrow, and so that's why I have a lot of them left over. But this is more or less kind of maybe 10 or 12 come in a packet. I didn't count them, so I'm not sure how many actually came in the original packet. I also had purchased these mesh rolls of ribbon, mesh ribbon. As you can see that. They have it in different colors. Now, a lot of the items at the Dollar Tree are they're kind of running out of things, so you can find other ones like a Hobby Lobby, or even find in the regular floral aisle. Just look for some colors that will go well with your fall decor. And these are leftover little flowers that I had from another little bush that I bought from another project I did. And then I also have a little bird. There was 2 of them in this packet. I've got one left over, so I'm going to use that. And I've got a little bit of raffia that I may use. Now, if you don't have raffia, you can use like a jute, or the hemp string, or little ropes, whatever you want to use. I have some wire. This is a 22 gauge wire. You can get wire at the Dollar Tree. I happen to get this one at Hobby Lobby, and I've had it for a while, so I don't need to buy any more of that. I also already had acrylic paints. These are craft paints at home, and I've got some black paint. It doesn't matter what brand you get. I've got this one that's like an off-white. It's a khaki color, kind of light tan color. And then I've got this dark brown. And I'm not exactly sure which I'm going to use, but once we get to it, you'll find out. Okay, so then these tools that we're going to need, because we're going to be doing some painting, I am going to need a brush. You're going to need a brush. A little cup of water, rinse off your brush, maybe a little napkin, and of course I've got a little styrofoam plate here so that I can put my paint on. I'm going to need my wire cutters, my needle nose pliers, which happen to be wire cutters as well. I've got my scissors, I've got a pencil, and a straight edge ruler. This is my quilting ruler, but you can use any straight edge ruler you might have. A nice long one would be nice. You're going to need your hot glue gun, and you're going to need a glue sticks. So let's get to making this. The first thing we want to do is we want to unpackage our items. So I'm going to be unwrapping the frames, and I'm going to be cutting up these little berries from here, just cutting them off the stem and separating the little leaves and things like that. So that's what I want to do. and I'll be back and get started on this project. Alright, so here I've got all my frames. I've gone ahead and unwrapped these, and what I've done is I've taken the backing off of them. So basically just lift these little metal tabs off the back. I'm sure many of you have done this in order to place a picture in there. But in this case, we're going to get rid of the backing. I mean, you could save the cardboard for something else if you wanted to. And we're going to remove the glass. And the glass, we're not going to be throwing that away. We're going to be saving it for another project. And I've already gone ahead and removed it off these two. These are 4x6 and a 3.5x5. I had two of the 3.5x5, but I decided to just use one, and I'll show you why I decided that. I'm going to put my glass to the side, just so that I don't break it. Okay, so these little tabs that are on here, you're going to use your needle nose pliers and just gently hold on to this and pull it out, just like that. Kind of wiggle them around. Now these frames from the Dollar Tree, they're pretty good. You know, they'll hold a nice little picture, and they'll serve their purpose. But I will tell you that they are kind of flimsy, and they can fall apart right at the joints here. And that kept happening to me with this 4x6, but I think it was because maybe it was already cracked, or because I noticed it when I was unpacking it, that it already had some bits that were broken in the back. So maybe when you're purchasing them, make sure that they don't have any cracks before you take them, and just handle them carefully. But if they do fall apart, they'll end up falling apart right at the joints, and you can easily hot glue them, or use your E6000, or even use the glues that are available, like the super glue that is available at the Dollar Tree. Okay, there's another tool that I forgot to mention, and this is an X-Acto knife, or you can use a craft cutting knife. We're going to be needing this to cut our foam board. What I want to create is a front door with my frames, and my idea was to use the length of this 8.5. What is this? An 8x10? Yes, an 8x10, and then these would be at the bottom to create like a door, you know, like a door frame. But these are too wide, even if I put them together for the width of this, and if I turn this around, they actually fit a little bit better, and then I can separate these. But I decided that I don't like this to be at the bottom of my door and this the top, so I decided that, well, maybe this will be my bottom and this will be my top right here. And then I can use a smaller little frame right in the middle, just to give this part a little more decoration so it's not so plain. So can you see that? That's going to be a front door. But I'm going to glue all this to my foam board, and I'll need to cut this to size. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide how wide I need my foam board, and obviously this frame here, the 8x10, is the widest. So I've already gone ahead and I've made some markings. I put it over to the corner of my foam board. I've aligned it here, and with a pencil I've already drawn a line here to tell me how wide it is. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way to this other end as well. I'm going to align it with the top here and the side. That's my kitty cat trying to get into my craft room. I'll probably let him in a little bit. He's making a lot of noise on the door. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to make another line. So now I'm just going to join those two lines with my straight edge, and that's why I needed my straight edge, just to join those lines. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out with my craft knife. I'm going to turn this around if you don't mind. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to put my straight edge. If you have a metal straight edge, that's even better. And just be careful with your knife. And I want to cut inside the pencil line, not outside of it. So I want to make sure that this is all, there we go, make sure the blade is pointing downward. And I'm going to go ahead and score it. And then the rest of it, oops, I'm scoring it, and then I'm just going to pop it like that. Just pop it. So then you can turn it around, and you've got this seam where you can now take your knife. I probably needed to freshen up my blade. Let's see. I don't have any lights. I can't see. I want you to see what I'm doing. And then just cut. Okay. And that just comes off right like that. There you go. Okay, so now we've got our width. And now we need to know what height do we want our little door. Excuse me while I go pick up the frame that just fell on the floor. Okay, so here we go. We've got this part. It's going to go at the bottom of our foam board. And we're just going to align it to make sure. Now, the perfect thing that I could do right now is I could go ahead and just glue this down so it doesn't move on me. But let me go ahead and show you what it is that I'm trying to achieve here. Then I'm going to want these two pushed as far over to the edge as I can. I'm going to leave a little gap. That's about a 1/2 inch gap, and as you can see, there's still more of this white up here, and that's going to get trimmed off. So what I'm deciding right here is where I want this frame and where I'm going to want these two, and I think that's pretty good. I think that whole length is pretty good. Let me tell you what this length is altogether if you happen to purchase the same exact amount of items as I've done. Okay, this is 18 inches, so it's 18 inches long this way. Well, it's going to end up being 18 inches, and this is about 11 3/4 right here, the width. Okay, 11 3/4, and then I'm going to cut it right here, 18 inches going down. So let's do that. Let's cut it at 18 inches. I'm going to make sure that that is what I want and do it. It's always better to measure twice and just cut once. And that's a little rule that my husband also uses because he does a lot of wood cutting. So measure once, cut twice. I want about 1/2 inch here. So yeah, it's going to be right at the 18. So then I'm going to go ahead and take my straight edge here. I'm going to make a pencil mark first to make sure that I do this right. This grid that I have here also helps me because that tells me that's 18 inches right there also. Okay, I'm going to mark that, and now I'm going to turn this so I can cut this at my angle, from my perspective, I should say. So I'm going to get it on here, and I'm going to cut within the pencil line, inside here, not on the outside of it, measuring on this side, but I'm going to cut inside my pencil line. Turn it over, crack it, there you go, and then you're just going to cut right on that, and that just comes right off, okay? And we don't need that little piece. So this is what we have. Okay, now you can just go ahead and just smooth out any little bits. I see something here that I don't quite like, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. So just make it nice and smooth. Get your nice sharp knife. I'm being lazy to go grab another blade for my knife, but I really should. All those background noises, forgiven. My son and my husband are doing a cookout, and they're right outside this window, and then they're also playing with the animals and feeding them, so they're making a lot of noise. Okay. That's one noise right there. Okay. Let's go and take a little bit of break, and I will be right back. All right, so here we've got my board. I'm going to give you the measurements one more time to be sure. This is an 18 by 11 3/4. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down my larger frame down onto my foam board. That's my dog, sorry. And I'm going to use my glue gun. Just place some glue on there. All the way around. I'm going to run out of glue here. Better hurry up because that glue dries pretty fast. Okay. Align it with the edges on the bottom. And there we go. That's what you want right there. Okay. The other two pieces are the 4x6s, and that was going to be about 1/2 inch apart. So I'm going to put these right on the edge here and right on the edge here. So I'm going to have, look at that, an almost perfect amount of space right between that almost matches that. And I'm not even going to measure it because I don't want to be wrong. Haha. Okay, so let's put some glue on the back of these. put this one back together. It had broken. So it's a little bit off. It's not exactly straight. Okay, I'm going to align this right on the edge on this side and the top right here and on here. So line it right there. Press it down. We do the same with the other one. Okay. Any of these little webs, you can just remove them after. Okay, align it with the edges here. Also eyeball it to make sure that you've got these aligning. It looks pretty good. I mean, other than the fact that I had little broken edges and I had to put it back together, it looks pretty darn good. Look at that. Okay, so this little small one is going to go right in the middle, and I don't want to forget where it goes, so I'm going to do a little bit of, sorry, I want to blow a little pieces off here. Okay, I'm going to try and align this as best as I can. Got 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. This is about 1.25, and that's about 1.25. Okay, so that's where I want it. Okay, so just center this as best as you can, and what you can do is with your pencil, go around the edge. Now we're going to paint this, so don't worry about your pencil lines. And just make, and if you want to do the same into the middle, that's fine. You can do that as well. Okay, so just mark with your pencil where that's going to go. Just like that. Okay, now we can put some glue on here so that when I place it back, I'll know exactly where I wanted it. And squeak, 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 squeak. Okay. Just align it with your lines. There we go. And there we go. And that's going to be the bottom of my door. There you go. That's what I have so far. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And of course, with a hot glue gun, everything dries up real quick. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and paint this. So we want to move right along. Get our little plate here where we're going to put some paint. This sticks out of the way. I'll have my water just in case I need that. Okay, we're going to put some paint, and I want to paint this all. Now you could take it outdoors and spray paint it if you wish. And it's probably the smarter idea to just spray paint them. But I'm going to go ahead and use this acrylic paint. Because you know what? I didn't want to have to run out and get some spray paint that are the color that I wanted, because I was too lazy and I didn't want to spend another $3 or whatever. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab something to put underneath my door before I start painting it, because I don't want to get any on my measuring grid. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've put a piece of cardboard. You can use paper, whatever you want. If you have an old rag, go ahead and put it underneath. Protect your counter space or your table. And just start painting this. And I'm probably going to have to give this 2 coats. And you want to make sure that you also paint the edges right along the sides here. Make sure you get those little edges. And paint in there. You want to make sure you get under the frame there, because where it tucks in, you want to make sure you paint in there as well. Okay, so I've been painting this, and it's just the first coat that I put on here onto my frames and my foam board. It's not perfect, but you can see. There we go. So we're going to put this aside and let it dry. And while it's drying, we're going to be creating a fall wreath to put on our little front door. And you know what? I've also been thinking that we're going to need some sort of a knob. So I'm going to dig in through my stuff and see what I can find, or maybe we can use one of those little acorns. That's going to be a little idea that's going to come to reality right here in front of us. So we'll be back. Let this dry. I'm going to give it another coat. Let it dry again. Meantime, let's make the little wreath. Okay, what I found in my items is this little wooden ball. It's got a little hole at the bottom, but this is pretty much flat on one side. I get these in little packages from the Hobby Lobby or even Michael's or even Walmart. I don't know if they'll have something like this at Dollar Tree, but if you do get these little balls, make sure that they've got a little flattened end. This side does also have a little flattened end. So something flat. You can use like a big button, or like I said, the little acorns that came that I bought could also be used somehow to create a little doorknob. Maybe just this little part, remove it and use that as a little doorknob, or even cut this down and use that as a little doorknob. Okay, so that's a little idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this with my black paint. I'm just going to pour the paint right on it. So just paint it. This still has a little bit paint from the other. So just paint it black. Do the best that you can. Just like that. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just going to let it dry now. Let's get to that little wreath. Alright, so now we want to create a little wreath for a little front door. I'm going to use this this other little frame that I had left over as sort of my guide as to what size I want to make my wreath, you know, my diameter. So I don't want to go any bigger than that. So you want to measure your little door and see how big you want your wreath. So I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of wire, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of it and just kind of like form a circle the size that I kind of want. And I'm kind of using this as the idea about the size that I want it. So let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to cut it right there because I'm going to twist these ends around the wire. Can you see that right there? Okay. And you can use your needle nose pliers. Now let's try to form as best a circle as we can with this. Okay, and this is about, let me tell you what size this is so you'll know. This is about a 6-inch diameter, okay? Now, you can use like an embroidery hoop, or if you find a little piece of styrofoam that's circled and maybe you just need to cut out the inside, we could also cut it from the same foam board, trace around a little circle, the diameter that we wanted, and then trace another circle inside. So we remove the middle part and we just have a thin piece of a little circle of that foam board, not styrofoam, but the foam board that we use to create our door. But I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. Okay, and you can use a thicker wire actually for this, but this is what I'm going to use because I'm trying to make this as easy and least supplies for you to create this little door fall decor. Okay, so then I've got all this mesh. So my idea was this mesh is 6 inches wide, and I'm going to cut about 4 inches, little 4-inch pieces. We have a 6x4. You're going to grab it, pinch it in the middle, and we'll just take a little bit of wire and twist and just trim this. Okay, and we want to leave a little bit of wire on there after we've twisted this, so we can go ahead and put it on this wire and then twist it around it. Okay, and don't worry if your circle starts to get misshapen. You'll just continue shaping it once you've got more of these little bits on there. Okay, so we're going to cut some orange and some brown, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to continue this little step, and you'll see me do that, and then I'll cut to where I've filled it up, and we'll see where we can go from there. All right, so what happened is I ended up cutting up all the little berries and the floral stems and the leaves as I had explained earlier, and I just hot glued them over on the mesh and on the wire. I also made an 8-loop bow, which I attached to the center. I used the wire on the bow to also wire down onto the wire that I had created the wreath circle with. So just go ahead and just glue things where you think they look pretty, and as you can see, I also glued on the acorns. All right, so our wreath is finished as I showed you. There we go. And now I'm back to the door, and I've gone ahead and I've given the door a second coating, and I've let that dry. So there you go. There's our little door. And I used the black for the little knob. There's still some little spots here and there that I see that are still wet. That's okay. Excuse me. So now I'm going to use the brown because I also showed you that I had a brown here. Just going to shake it up a little bit. This is an earth brown by Anita's Craft. If you wanted to know the other ones, they're apple barrel. Again, this was a khaki that I used for the door, and an apple barrel black I used for the little knob. So I'm going to use this brown. This is from Anita's. It's also an acrylic paint, earth brown. A little bit in my plate here. And I'm just going to take my brush and make sure that it's not too wet. Pick up a little bit of that brown paint and tap some of it off. And just like in the little corners, here and there, I'm just going to rub it on. Where the door might have a little more wear. I might pick up, you know, more of the stains. Now, you can skip this part. You don't have to do this if you don't like that look. I think I've done enough of weathering it. What do you think of that? Okay, like I said, you can just skip this part. You don't have to do this. And the best thing about it is it's really light because, you know, it's on styrofoam, and these little things are like a little plasticky bit, so they're not heavy at all. These little frames. Okay, and I also painted what is going to be a little doorknob. And since this is the front of my door, and doorknobs are usually a little bit low, they're kind of like at hand level. So I'm going to put this right about down there. Plenty of hot glue on it right here. And right about there. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's really cute, I think it is. Anyway, so that's our door. And this paint won't take long. What I've just put on there won't take long to dry. I'm going to go ahead and put things out of the way. Because the next thing we want to do is we want to create something to hang the door with. Now, you have two choices. And I told you that you would use some raffia, or if you have some jute or some little rope, or I'll put my little bird here so I don't forget that I want to use him, or even some wire. But I have this leftover raffia, so I'm going to create something with this raffia. Let's get the longer pieces. Let's make a mess first. That's the only way to go. Gotta make a mess. Okay. Let's put the door. Let's put our door off to the side here. Get this out of the way. My water. I would get a little bit of a sore throat, but it's more scratchy than sore. So I've got some water there. Okay, here we have some raffia. Let's grab these long strands, the ends, like so. See how long they are? Kind of like the length of that one. I'll fold it in half right here. Okay. Let's cut right here. I've decided to cut. This is about 20-21 inches of raffia. Just a little string like that. Okay. You could take 3 pieces or 6 pieces and kind of braid them together if you want. What I'm going to do is just leave them like that. Well, you know what? I'm going to make one knot. Excuse me. I'm going to knot them together kind of in the middle, like so. And do another one over here. And I'll do another one over here. Now, there's different ways I can do this. Let me grab my door. It's pretty much dry. Let's put this down here. Okay. Here's my door, and this is going to be the top of the door. Excuse me. Now, I could glue the raffia from behind, like so, or, you know, whatever little piece of rope or wire I decide to use, so that I can create a little bit of a hanger. Okay? That's one choice, is to do that, which I think I'm going to go with that choice. The other choice would be to get your needle nose pliers and poke little holes right up on the edge here, right in the middle, on the top edge, and then another one over here. And that would be to put your raffia through the little hole and then knot so that they would be hanging off the little strings. But I really don't want to do that to my little door because I think it's really pretty, and I think I might want to recycle it for Christmas. So I'm just going to turn it around. And on the ends here, I'm going to make another knot. Try to get those little ends together. Make a nice knot like that. I'm just going to trim off some of that, and do the same on the other side. It'd be cute if you braided it. So make 6 strands of raffia, and 2, 2, and 2, so that you can braid. Okay. This is going to go about right there. So let's put lots of glue right here. Put that knot down right on that. Okay. And then pour some more glue over it. Okay, let's let it dry really good. And then we'll do the other end with the same spacing from the edge, whatever the spacing is. Do it over here, and then do the same thing to the other knot. First, let this one dry really well so it doesn't move around while you're trying to glue this other one. And then we'll turn it back around. Okay, so we'll be right back. All right, so I've got the 2 ends of the raffia that I've knotted all glued on there. So that's what it is right there. This is our little hanger, and there's our door. So now what we want to do is we want to put a wreath on our door. So this is the door, you're looking at it, this is the bottom, this is the top. I'm working on it upside down so that you can see what I'm doing. And we want to put our little door right here in the front. Now, let me trim off some little bits here, because I'm seeing this and it's really bugging me. I want to make sure that I can see the work that I've done, the little frames underneath there, so make sure that you can see that. There you go. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to place little dots of glue right underneath, so it hooks onto this mesh right here, and a little bit of the wire. I don't want to glue too much of it on, I just want it enough so that it stays on there. And there you go. You could use some tacky, like little tacky clay or little double stick tape, but I want to make sure it does stay on there, but I also want to be able to peel it off if I have to, because I might recycle this same little door and use it for Christmas. Now, really and truly, I didn't spend a lot of money. This was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, and the styrofoam is 5. And of course, depending on how much you use to create your wreath, you could spend another $5 on 5 more items for your supplies. Maybe also for the little knob. But then again, the little knob will come in a package of several. And you could really use anything for your little knob. So don't even worry about that. So you can spend about $10 to make this. So you could just make another one instead of taking this one apart and doing another one. So this is sticking on there. It's not coming off. But I'm also going to put a little bit of glue down here at the bottom. Now, if you're going to put this on your front door, you know, and it's going to be out in the wind, so then you want to make sure you glue it a whole lot more. I'm going to hang it inside my home. because I've already got a wreath for my outdoors, and that's my little scarecrow wreath, and I'll link that down at the bottom so you can see that. But this is my little door, and let's take a better look at it, and I'll be right back. All right, let me give you a better look of this little wreath, or actually decor, fall decor that I've created. A little front door. You can hang this anywhere you like, give it as a gift. You can make several and obviously give them as gifts or sell them if you want. But I think this is a really great idea. I was inspired by an item I saw at a home store, and it was made of wood, and I thought, I think I can make that with some little frames. So I obviously hit it off to the Dollar Tree, found myself my supplies, and created this. So what do you think? It's really pretty. I'm going to go hang it so that you can see how pretty it looks on the wall. Actually, I'm going to go put it on my front door just so you can have a good look at what it'll look like outside. And if you enjoyed this, please give me a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a nice comment down below, subscribe, and share in your social medias. And as always, enjoy.